everybody. Hey, Evan. I see Evan's here. He's checking it out. How you doing? We had quite a day today. Today is the first of our chord live streams, and me and Evan are going to hang out here. Evan and I are going to hang out here with you today. Hope you're doing good. Maybe we'll get some folks to come in here in a few minutes. We're going to be talking about playing chords cleanly. I tried to do something that was a little bit more chord based there. But you know, I did a little jamming on there too. What we're going to be doing is coming to you live. Today is Thursday. Next week, we're going to be doing Tuesday and Thursday. And then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And what we're going to be doing is getting ready for the Chord Elevation Toolkit. It's massively updated in the works as we speak, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Evan is having a pretty good day, all considered. Me too. It was a good day. We had a lot of stuff going on today. I was hoping to get to this earlier, but what better time now than any? So we're going to be talking about, let me get everything loaded up here. 3 causes of buzzing chords, right? Where's all my stuff here? How to fix them fast. We're also going to be talking about how to press less on your guitar, how to keep the pressure even so your chords stay clean. And then we're going to do the clean chord test. Everybody needs to be able to do. It's easy, but it's something that needs to be said every once in a while. Here, let me sit up a little bit straighter there. So the little jam I did right there was a G7 and then a C dominant 7, and then an F dominant 7. So they're still dominant 7th chords. And we're doing a lot of embellishments, and that's what the whole purpose of the Chord Elevation Toolkit is to talk about embellishments. What can you do to these chords? But today we're going to start even more basic. For all the live streams we're going to be doing is talking about how do I pull these chords off? What are the big problems in bar chords where you get all of the buzzing? So I'm going to take these 3 chords and we're going to take a look at them here. Let's see here. We've got, I just got a notification that Ian is watching. Hey, Ian, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Let's take a close up here of this dominant 7th chord. It's in a lot of songs played. It's very common. And basically what it is, it's an open position E dominant 7th chord. That's an E major chord, missing the middle note, missing the D string note, so that it goes to the open string. And how we recreate that is we bar at the 3rd fret for a G, and then we put in our E dominant 7th. We're going to put the 1st finger across on the 3rd fret, and then we have 2nd finger on the G string at the 4th, and then 3rd finger, skip a string, and we put that on the D string at the 5th fret. There. Hey, look who it is. Aaron's here. What's happening, man? How you doing? Great to see you. So we're cleaning up our chords here. This is going to be a lot of fun. What's the biggest problem that happens with a bar chord? Well, first is the bar too. These you're going to get a lot of this kind of sound, right? Where you're not getting even pressure across the fret there, right? And that can happen for a number of different reasons. I'm going to go through most of the reasons. The first biggest reason is not being close enough to the fret. So you have to push down harder back here to get those notes cleaner. You don't have to push down as hard the closer you get to the fret. So that's the first part. We're going to chop this chord up into 3 bits. So we got this chord here, and we got the 1st finger. I'm just going to try and make all of those notes sound clean first before I add in the other notes. It's always good when you're trying to learn a chord and it's not coming out correctly to break it into bits, to practice the parts of it. Don't try to get the whole chord down at first, because you may have 2, 3, 4 different reasons why things aren't working out so good. So the first reason we're going to fix here, we're going to bring this 1st finger all the way up to the fret so I can feel it all the way across my finger. Now, if you take a look here, can I get it even closer, I think? Yeah, a little bit closer. There. It looks like my finger's right on top of the fret. You can't even see it. But it's not. If I can, let's see here if I can do. No, I can't do it. I am right behind it, right there. So my finger's not flat on here. I'm kind of rolled back a little bit, and we'll talk about rolling the finger back in a few minutes. But I'm bringing it up right to where my finger stops, right where the fret is. So I have no room between the fret and my finger. The part that's over top of the fret, that's just my finger sticking over it. It's not pressing down on the strings. The parts that's pressing down is back behind it. Now let's take a look. The next part. Look where my thumb is. It's even with my first finger right there. I'm getting a lot of strength from that. And I don't have to push down very hard. So once I do that, I'm going to do the clean chord test that everybody should know. And that's... Now, if you notice, that first note I hit pretty hard. And it had a little bit of buzzing in there. That, if you have a low action, you're going to get that. You're going to get a little bit of buzzing no matter what, right? That's part of what the guitar sounds like. Now, if I pick lighter, comes out clean. If I press really hard, you get a little buzzing in there. But kind of like flamenco guitar players that incorporate that buzz into their sound. It's almost like distortion for them, right? When you want to have a little bit of extra motion and you hit it hard, it puts a little noise in there with it. Makes it a little bit more aggressive, right? But I'm going to play this clean and quiet. And I'm able to get all of the notes ringing clearly. And then always try and do it on the way back too. Right, so now, okay, I got that. That's my first cause of the buzzing chord. I'm over here, pulling up to the fret. Now I've got these other two notes. I'm gonna go to my second finger on the 4th fret of the G string. And I notice that my hand, if I just do this naturally, my finger's coming down kind of sideways, right? And I'm actually not hitting the pad of my finger. I'm almost hitting off to the side of my fingernail like that. And the reason for that is I've got my elbow kind of tucked in a little bit, and it's got my hand that, if you look at the angle between my arm and the guitar, it's not like this. It's kind of a diagonal to that, right? So I'm going to have to, if I keep my arm like this, I'm going to have my fingers coming down sideways. Let me see if I can show that. Can you see that my finger's coming down sideways? If I bring my hand back, bring my elbow back a little bit, now my finger here is coming straight down on the string. The arm angle is a big deal, and it's not talked about a lot. You know, everybody's talking about getting up on the frets and strength and all that stuff, but the angle that you're playing at makes a big difference. It makes things easier or more difficult to play, and it can also make it sound better as well too. So this way, my finger, I'm not off to the side here. I'm pressing straight down on it and getting a clean sound. And I'm able, with my elbow out a little bit, to get my first finger on the bar all the way across and my second finger right up to that 4th fret on the G string. Now, here's the third problem. When you've got all of these fingers down and you have maybe 1 or 2 other notes that you need to press down, sometimes you're not able to get this other finger all the way up. So here, I've got my first finger all the way across. I got my second finger on the 4th fret. But when I put my 3rd finger down, look how far it goes. See all that big space between my finger and the fret there. So this is the note in the whole chord that will probably give you buzzing the most. You can hear it right there. Now, if I get it close to there, if I get it closer in, I'm going to have to press a little bit harder with this 3rd finger to get it to ring clean. If I don't, you'll hear that buzzing there. Now, what you can do is you can stretch it there, right? So, but that's that was easy to do when I pushed it over there, right? It's difficult to do when you just are putting a chord down really quickly, right? So what do you do in those cases where you can fret most of the notes, but then one of the strings, one of the frets, you can't get to it and get close to the frets. What do you do about that? Well, most of the problem with that is this forward stretching here. If you've ever tried to play the boogie patterns, see what happens to my hand when you play those. These are very difficult to play. There's a lot of stretching involved. That kind of stuff, right? So if I'm stretching out that far, a lot of times when people do this, they'll try to fret it normally and then do all the stretching with the first finger here, coming out that way. Notice what I did is I am doing the stretching when I do this boogie pattern between my first and second finger. I figure out where does my pinky need to be, and I put that first. And I reach back for the other notes. It's much easier to do that than have your low notes and then reach forward there. See what happened. If I have these and reach back, it's much easier to play. So for this chord, I can take that same idea. I'm going to fret the note that's hard to play and reach back with the other ones. Look at that. Perfect. Very easy to do. I fretted my third finger first because that's the difficult one. I put it right up on the fret, and then I reached back with my first and second finger to get the other ones. And now I have the chord perfect right there. I don't know why that works that way, but I do know one thing. It works that way 100% of the time. You fret the note that you're having a hard time and let the other fingers worry about it, and you're going to get some good results there. Aaron says, hey, Evan, good to have the band back together. Yeah, there's a few of us in here. Hopefully by next week, we're going to acquire a whole bunch of people like we did last time. There's a good group of people. Little late today, and this is the first one, but there's going to be a lot of people watching this after the fact. So hello to all the folks who are watching this later. So we just went through the 3 causes of buzzing chords. Let's talk about pressing less and sounding better. Oh, wait. Evan says, I don't know that I have trouble with clean bar chords, but man, do they wear out my hands quickly. Well, isn't that appropriate for what we're about to talk about right now? Is how hard do you press these things down? Most people, they get excited, they're going to play the guitar, and they press these things down super hard, right? And like that, because they're not sure they're playing it right, and they figure, well, if they put in a lot of effort, it's going to make it better. More effort equals more better. Not in the case of fretting chords. If I'm to press down too hard, did you hear how that sounds a little sour? Now here it is, lightly pressed down. It's much more in tune. Too hard? What happens is there's a distance between when you press the string down and the fretboard. Okay? That distance is almost like when you press a fret down too hard and take your finger and push it all the way to the wood, all the way down to the fretboard, right? And what you're doing, in fact, is it's almost like turning the tuner a little bit. Okay? You're making it go sharp. You're pushing it when you push it too hard. All you need to do is push the note down until it can ring. Any farther and it's going to go sharp. Okay? Have you ever tuned your guitar and you got it perfectly in tune? Maybe the intonation is set perfectly, and then when you play, it sounds out of tune. It's not the guitar, it's you. It's getting excited and pressing these strings down too hard. We think, well, if I don't press them down too hard, I'm going to get buzzes and horrible sounds. Well, that's true too. We have a line to walk here. So if we press them down too hard, it goes sour and goes out of tune. If we don't press down hard enough, we're losing. Evan says, I worry I press down a little hard. Yeah, and I think a lot of people do, because we don't think about it. You pick up the guitar, you're thinking about Am I playing the notes correctly? You're not thinking about these other things. It's my job. I bring these to your attention. Next time you're playing chords, pay attention to how hard you're pressing the strings down. It's one thing, say you're in an aggressive part of the song, right? And you're slamming these chords. That's only with your picking hand. You don't want to have that same aggression with this hand. This hand has to be precision. This hand can go from light to extremely heavy and then back. All in one verse, you can have all of those different dynamics, the strengths there. But this, you don't need that. You don't need to press down harder on the chord to make it sound heavier. All it's going to do is make it sound out of tune. So we want to get used to this hand always playing the same way, always playing with the same amount of tension on the strings, right? I don't, just because say I'm playing like a Led Zeppelin song, I've got this E chord and it's the coolest part of the song and I really love it. I'm going to play the crap out of it. Well, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to push it down harder here. That's all coming from this hand. This hand is still just barely pressing it down. Why? Because if I press down too hard, it goes out of tune. If I press down just right, in tune, sharp, in tune, sharp. And now you think, I can't hear that. That's not such a drastic change. So who knows? I may be out of tune across the other strings. No one's going to hear that. But when you're pressing a chord down and all of the strings are sharp, they go sharp at different degrees. They don't go all sharp together. One might be a little more, it starts to really sound sour sounding. So how do we do that? How are we going to figure out how light to press these strings down? Well, you have to test it. So I'm going to use my first finger here and let's go to the almost close up here. There we go. And I'm going to press this down until right there, all the notes come in. That's not good. There, right there. It's clean, it's clear, and I'm pressing it down just light enough to do that. Now I press down too hard. Out of tune. Here it is back in tune. Now I add the other strings, other fingers. No. There it is right there. That's how strong your hand has to be to press these strings down and have them come out clear, and that's it. And the clean chord test that we do every single time, we are going to arpeggiate the chord. Play like a harp player. We're going to play the note and let it ring, and then move on to the next. There we go. Before, my high E string was not, I was getting one of these, so I had to adjust a little bit. Now that's pretty, on my guitar I'm sure is a little out of tune. I've been playing on it for a while, but that's pretty close, right? Now, let's go to this D chord here. This presents a lot of challenges as well too. Well, we have a bar here. Now I'm only barring from the A string across, right? But I've got these three fingers that all want to be on the same fret, but they're on adjacent strings. Now take a look at that. The pinky is right on the fret, but my third finger, my ring finger, can't go straight up on the fret. If I did, to get all three of them on the frets, I'd have to bring my elbow all the way out here, and then I couldn't bar that first note. So there's you've got to give it a little where's Aaron? Aaron says, I can imagine that I would use the same force on both hands. Maybe not. But I am asking you is to check it out next time you're playing, right? Okay, make sure that this is the one that's doing the dynamics, the more and less. This one's just pushing down the strings till they ring clear. Okay, but what we have the problem here is that we talked about it earlier. Is this finger is very far. That my middle finger on the D string cannot get very close to that fret without twisting my arm that way. So what do I have to do for that string to get it to fret? Because I'm way back here, I do have to press down a little bit harder on that. Now, if I press too much, you hear it went out of tune. If I press just enough. So what that makes is I've got a first finger that's pressing down right at the right pressure. I have these two fingers that are about the same pressure, and this one I'm pushing down a little bit harder to get that note to not buzz. Now, even though this one's pressing down a little bit harder because it's back here farther, let me tell you something. When you get that thing going, you're pressing down a little bit harder here, it doesn't go out of tune because you're only pressing until that goes away. Dustin's here. I'm not putting that up. Hey, Dustin, good to see you. So that, yeah, we've talked about the three. Where are we at here? We're talking about the three causes of buzzing chords. We're talking about how to press less but sound better. Dustin came in here and halfway through or towards the end here. Take a look back. Take a listen back when you get a chance. Three causes of buzzing chords. How to press less but sound better. And then we have the clean chord test, the arpeggiating, like a harp player. Play one string at a time, but let them all ring. Easy stuff. But, you know, when you've got those, we've all been there, when you've got the chords and you just can't get the chord to sound right, you don't think about these easy things. You just think, I'll just do better. I'll just play this chord harder. And that's the wrong way to go, because you're just going to go out of tune, and nobody wants to hear that, right? So the rest of the live streams, as I said, it's going to be next Tuesday and Thursday as we get closer to Halloween week. So at Halloween, we are going to be re-releasing the Chord Elevation Toolkit. There's going to be a new vault for that, just like the Blues Elevation Toolkit. Adding things on there. If you've previously bought this, you're in luck. It's all bonus for you. You got in it's $20, just like the Blues Elevation Toolkit, but a lot of you got it for $7 earlier on, and you're going to get all the cool stuff if you've already bought it. And the week of Halloween, we're going to be going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday doing these lives. We've got a whole bunch of different chord things to do. Get your chords in shape. Talking about rhythm guitar. We're talking about a lot of cool stuff here. So I am happy to see you all here. I'm going to be going in a few minutes unless someone has some questions. Let me look back here. Everybody's just saying hi. And Evan and Aaron. Oh, okay. All right, good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm not seeing anything coming in. Awesome to hang out with you today. Evan, thanks. Aaron, thanks. Dustin, thanks, but I'm not putting that up. I'm just not doing it. Hope you're doing good. Hope all of you are doing good. And I'll see a bunch of you in coaching this weekend. And next Tuesday is when everything's getting back together again. So I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.